Yo, welcome once again to the We Are Gamers series. My name is your host, Champ Tone, aka Psychosis, a gamer with a passion for Jesus and gaming. And it is a true pleasure once again to grace your space this day. On today's episode, we're doing a deep dive considering the upcoming release of the sort of anticipated, somewhat controversial Diablo 4. And we're going to deep dive into the whole Diablo series. And to help me with that, I have a resident expert. And it's not just because his namesake comes from the actual series, but because this dude freaking knows everything I've ever not known about the Diablo series. Let me introduce the real Death by Cows.
What's going on? Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Dude,
it.
the stuff, you have told me stuff. And I used to credit myself thinking I knew a lot about the Diablo series, bro. And you come in and you tell me stuff, and I'm like, I did not know that. I check, I'm like, wow, this dude is 100% right. Like, you know, dates, you know, the release dates, the characters. Like, I didn't even,
I wouldn't say
bro.
I know release dates, but I'm fairly roughly in the ballpark every time. I wouldn't say down to exact release dates.
Mm,
I spent like I was telling you when we were setting up. I spent a lot, probably the past 20 years, just in and out of Diablo, between the lore, the gameplay, um, just playing mods, just living, breathing Diablo. Like it was one of the first games that I really can say brought me into gaming. You know, so
mm.
Diablo will always hold a special place in my heart. And if you haven't listened to our episode of the 1v1s yet, definitely go listen to it. It was a very fun pod to record. So yeah.
Word. And Diablo 2, I should say, is still one of your all-time favorite video games, like ever.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
hands down. Diablo 2 set the stage for ARPGs as it stands. You wouldn't have Path of Exile without it. You wouldn't have most RPGs as we know them without
Mm-hmm.
Diablo, and
Yeah,
that
word.
says a lot. It
Yeah.
draws a lot of its visual and like lore and like gameplay type because of D&D, and I wasn't heavy in D&D, so for me, the basis of it for me is really far off, but I just love the gameplay. It's great. The lore is fantastic. The game holds up 20 years later. It got its remake with Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you haven't picked it up, crossplay is fantastic on it. Well, cross character progression anyway.
And
Because
no cross
I
character.
bought it at this point. I bought that game 3 times. I bought it once on the
Lol.
PC, twice on the
Yo, you
Switch,
have.
and then once on the PlayStation. So I am the epitome of shut up and take my money when it comes to Diablo. And I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very adamant about not picking up D4, and
Mm.
our good friend Avante peer pressured me into dealing with anything D4. And
He's like, come
yeah,
on,
now
guys. Free weekend.
now
Free
unfortunately here we
weekend.
are again. Blizzard's gonna take my fucking money. Now it's a matter of, do I buy it on the Switch? Do I buy it on PlayStation? Do I buy
Oh,
it on
man.
PC? Do I buy it everywhere? So yeah. Thanks, Avante. When you hear this, just know, thank you very much. I appreciate you, bro.
I know he was streaming it in the Discord. It's like, damn, this looks fun. Damn.
Uh,
Why am I
no, but
installing it? Oh,
but look, D4. Let's talk D4. We played it. We
mm-hmm.
had a fucking blast with it. I'm not gonna lie. I went into it thinking that it was gonna be trash.
Yeah.
I
Same.
enjoyed the gameplay for what it was. I enjoyed the story. The visuals looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It looked
Mm-hmm.
like, granted, yes, it feels a little bit like Diablo 3 turned up maybe to 25, 30. It doesn't feel like a
Mm-hmm.
new game. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will
I
say
agree.
that the skill and the progression system for what we had exposed, the exposure to during the beta,
Mm-hmm.
it looked freaking amazing. I
Way.
love the
Oh my
fact that
goodness.
there
Way
is going to
better.
be so much build
Mm.
diversity in
Mm-hmm.
D4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that more than anything. We only got a taste. We scratched the surface of what these builds could possibly be. We have no idea what's in store for the true end game, which is 50
Mm-hmm.
plus.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
capped us at 25. think about it. They overtuned the drop rates. They overtuned, the difficulty for the beta weekend. Cool, that's great. We got a taste of what potential power you can have at end game.
Yeah.
Being 25, that it was fun. It was fun, but I'm excited to see what it really is going to be at the end. You know what I
I
mean?
know. So you played Diablo 1. I want to pick your brain a little cuz Diablo 1
So hold on. Wait. Which
no.
version of Diablo 1? Because I had both the PlayStation 1 version
The PC
and the
version.
PC version.
The PC version. The PC version.
The PC version, while it wasn't local co-op it was local co-op in the sense that you could, throw a LAN together and play.
Right.
You could.
Yeah, you could
The
do the LAN.
PlayStation version, you could play 2-player co-op on the same system.
I know. I was like, really? That
It
was annoying.
sucked.
I was like, oh, did it?
It was so horrible on PlayStation.
So who would the screen follow around?
It would center both people, so like you couldn't split off. You both would literally be trapped in it would be like running Maggot Layer all together all the time.
Oh no.
That's what it was like playing on one screen together.
So it wasn't that good in terms
No. It was horrible. It was definitely not made for the PlayStation. The user interface was stupid. I don't know if you remember, they made Age of Empires for the PS2.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever got the chance to play that, but that was really bad as well.
No. That console and PC ports to consoles, in my opinion, 10, 15 years ago, they were all terrible. The only one that was remotely sort of good were ports like Doom, simply because a controller can do it.
Play Doom on everything.
Easy. Yeah, you know what I mean? But that was it. That's the only thing. I'm not trying to play no RTS strategy where I'm using 3 buttons on my mouse and 20 buttons on my keyboard with a joystick with only 9 buttons. I'm like, how's this going to work?
Exactly. It wasn't a fun interface, but I really didn't play Diablo 1 as much as I played Diablo 2. I played Diablo 1 literally just to the end, and that was it. And, being 10, 11 years old, I haven't touched it since. So, like, I remember the finer points. You rogue, the warlock, wizard. I know it wasn't sorceress at the time.
No.
Wizard, and then wizard, and then the warrior who was Prince Aiden from the lore of the game.
Right.
Who eventually becomes the Dark Wanderer in D2, who is Leia's father from D3.
Did you play Hellfire?
I never got the chance to play Hellfire.
Really?
I do know it was the expansion for D1. That was the original expansion.
It was. They had the monk.
Yes, they added the monk. That's right. I never had the opportunity to play Hellfire.
It was a mixed bag. Some people thought it was good. Some people thought it wasn't. But yeah, it was. That's when expansions for games weren't, I guess, the greatest. You know what I mean? That's what.
Yeah.
When did Diablo 1 even come out?
94? Late
Really?
93?
94? I have
94, I want to say?
Idea. Hold on.
Let's see. Bullshit. 2 years off. 96. December 31st, 96.
Wow, 96.
96.
That's damn.
So imagine that. I played Diablo 1 when I was 10.
Ago. No, 27 years ago. My God.
Yeah, 27. Yeah, bro, we're old.
Oh my God. I was 16. Jesus.
And then here it says Diablo Hellfire was released November 97. So a little less than a year after.
All right, so I'm going to tell you something, and everyone is going to be listening to this, and they're going to be like, oh my God, you actually did that? I was in Costco, and I tried to steal that game and a bunch of batteries and got caught. They had bro, I was so scared, bro. Because I was like, if my mom finds out, I'm going to die. Like, I don't know if they had my picture up because they banned me from the store.
Oh no.
That was when after you got caught shoplifting, yeah, man, that was like Yo, bro, I'll never forget that. But it's crazy because they let us buy the stuff that we were trying to take and let us go because it was me and a homeboy of mine, but we were both under 18. So they were like, "Look, buy the stuff, but you're banned from the store." We were like, "All right, sure." You know what I mean? We did that. We cut out. My buddy picked us up. He's like, "You guys are idiots." Terrible. But yeah. So Hellfire, it was whatever. Then Diablo 2 came out,
Yep.
and that's when everything changed with the BattleNet. You know what I mean? The
Actual
seamlessness.
online co-op,
Yeah, yeah.
online multiplayer, and that was 2000, bro. I
Yes.
played Diablo for the first time in 2001. I
The first
remember,
Diablo.
no, Diablo 2.
Oh, okay, okay.
Diablo 2 I played in for the first time in
Mm.
2001. I played after the expansion came out.
Oh,
That's when I
really?
really, yeah. So originally
Mm-hmm.
D2 came out. My stepdad got it, and he played
Mm.
it on his work laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always bringing the game with him everywhere. So that was the
It
first
was
time
that
I
good.
got to play
It was that good.
Diablo. Exactly. And
Yeah.
then he let us borrow his discs. We threw it on my brother's crappy little compact that he
It
had.
had
That
it had it had four, no, three or four.
3 discs. It was a 3 disc
Yeah,
set.
it was
It
one of
came
those
in that
that
big,
big.
thick
Yeah, yeah,
jewel
yeah.
case. God, I
I
actually
remember
still
that. I
have my.
remember that. So do
I
I.
actually. Oh, wait.
So
Here's
do
here's the
I.
funny thing. I have 2 copies of Diablo 2. My stepdad's copy and my copy. I have
That's
6
hysterical, bro.
discs for Diablo sitting in a tote in my in-laws' house right now,
Save those
along
memories.
with my 2 copies of LOD.
Wow, those are the relic. I have my copy of LOD
I
too.
bought
Yeah,
the
yeah.
battle chest twice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I bought the one battle chest for my brother and one for me.
Nice. That's freaking hilarious. So people are listening. I mean, for the most part, if you're a gamer, chances are you've heard of Diablo in some way, shape, or form.
I
But
would hope so, and if you haven't, I would suggest get Diablo Resurrected on a nice sale, and just play it for a little bit. Yes, it feels dated. It's supposed to. It's 20 years old at this point, but there are a lot of people who are joining the Diablo 2 Reddit. You'll find me there a lot because I do spend a lot of time on the Diablo Reddit.
lol.
Um, there are a lot of people who are just jumping into Diablo 2 saying that they
Mm.
can't believe they've never played it. For a 20-year-old game, it is a fantastic play. Not only is it a good
Well,
looking game visually now,
the
but the story
remaster,
itself,
right? The
the
remaster looks
remaster looks
great.
great. The
Yeah.
remaster looks so good, and you can toggle between the legacy graphics and the updated graphics, and it is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous night and day how good this game looks. If you want to understand what Diablo 4 is going to look like, pick up Diablo Resurrected because that's
Mm-hmm.
going to give you
Mm-hmm.
a taste of the graphics because
Yeah.
hands down Diablo 4 looks just as good. The what they did for up the upgrade on the graphics for D4 samples the engine for D2 samples
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
engine for D4, so it gives you a taste of what that engine's going to really do, and it
Yeah.
looks great. It really
It does.
does.
It does. I
It looks
mean, the
fantastic.
only reason and the only reason I don't actively play it is because I can't see the item drops. And that is so
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah. In
That
your
is
case,
so freaking annoying.
yeah.
I would still be trying. Like I can still try to play some games even though I'm terrible at them because I can't see half the stuff that's going on. With Diablo, see that's what I like that about Diablo 4 was that the unique drops the highlight is totally noticeable, and Diablo 4 has a lot of accessibility options where it reads everything you mouse over, which I have apps for that do that. So I'm sold on the accessibility options for the game, which is like the dumbest thing, you know what I mean? But I was like, oh my goodness, it read everything. I hovered an item, it read the name and every single individual stat down to one-handed, two-handed, and the numbers of everything, plus, minus, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about the lore. Let's
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 go.
get into the lore. So we start Diablo 1.
Diablo 1
Go.
starts off in Tristram. Basically, there's the talks of the cathedral. It's got like demons in it. You're sent in as the player. Ultimately, you lose your mind a little bit once you end up killing Diablo, but you go into the cathedral after fighting your way down through the depths of, what is it?
Yo, you
10 levels, 11 levels?
You literally go to hell from the church.
If from the church, you go to hell. That's right.
I was like,
from the depths of the church.
Bro, when I used to play that game, I was like, I hope my mom doesn't see what's happening because she will burn the CD. She will burn these discs if she understands what is happening right now. Yo, because that was kind of bugged. You go, and the whole thing though was that one. It was basically you start in Tristram, you go in the church, and you just go down.
You just keep going down and down and down until you end up in hell.
Literally end up in hell and fight the devil, which was, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Wow. This is nuts. And then Diablo 2. So take it away with the Diablo 2 lore.
Diablo 2, now you're following the Dark Wanderer at the end of Diablo 1. As the lore puts it, Prince Leoric, or Albrecht, I forget whichever one. It's King Leoric, and his Prince Albrecht is the son. Right. So basically, he takes the Soul Stone and he jams it in his forehead, and basically starts hearing the Diablo voice chatter in the back of his head, and sets off on and that's the end of Diablo 1. Right, so you pick up at the end of at the start of Diablo 2. It's 20 years later after the events of D1. You set off in search of the Dark Wanderer, who is basically leaving a trail of destruction behind him.
Right.
Death, destruction, burnt down towns. And you're also following our good friend, the opium smoking Marius. That fucking dope head.
The crazy drug bug. Like, this dude was a crack. He was a straight up
fucking Marius, man. If it wasn't for Marius, Diablo 2 wouldn't have happened. So in the long run, yes, we have to thank his stupid ass for the events of Diablo 2. So you set off on the events of Diablo 2, walking after the Dark Wanderer.
Wait. Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Spoiler alert, guys. If you haven't played Diablo 2, we're about to ruin the whole story for you.
That crackhead guy dies, so just...
Yeah, he does die. He eventually does die. In prison, mind you. He dies in the insane asylum. Yes. So
by the exact
person he was supposed to escape. By Bale.
Yeah, he killed him, right.
So Diablo 2, 5 acts. It takes you across the Rogue Enchantment, the deserts of Luke Galeen, the swampy, gross dock, disgusting Act 3 that is the Kraus.
with the little children.
Karas. You end back up in Hell in Act 4, and then you end up in Mount Ariad in Act 5.
Right.
Where you then end up destroying the World Stone and setting the path for Diablo 3.
And the first 4 acts were basically following the Dark Wanderer.
That's right.
That's why you were actually doing it. You were following him to try to...
So when on D2 release, you got the first 4 acts. Basically you... D2 originally ended before Legend of Lord of Destruction dropped, which is the expansion. It stopped at Act 4.
Right.
So you had to wait those 11 months to figure out what happened for the rest of the story, and then Act 5 drops, and that's when you go and you kill Bale, and you meet the barbarians, and you destroy the World Stone, and Tyrael is just basically still a useless angel.
Yeah, that was weird. And then so that was, and what's crazy about Diablo 2 was that even though it was the same repetitive grind, I don't, because all right. So before I get into goods and bads, so now we have Diablo 2 into Diablo 3, and this is where things start to go downhill, unfortunately, for this series. I mean, in my opinion,
So D3 came out almost 10 years after D2. That was D3 dropped in... Yeah, D3 dropped I was just having Izzy, so 21. I was 21. That's
So long
2011.
ago? Well, yeah, they
Yeah.
are up to season like 30 something, right?
So
Like
yeah, that was like
five.
2010, 2011. I had just started working at FedEx.
Mm.
2000 tops, 2013.
2012.
See, there you go.
2012. May
So
15th. Damn.
20.
Really? That
Wow,
long
dude,
ago?
that's 10 years ago. That's 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
11 years if we want to
And
get that technical.
law. But
So,
that was I know I was hyped for it because I
dude,
spent so
I
many hours on
pre-ordered it. I
D2.
was
So
super
did
hyped
I.
for it.
So
Like,
good. And
and
then
then it
you
dropped.
so it was so bad.
Uh,
The
I feel,
itemization was
dude, I feel
horrible.
like we're rehashing our 1v1 series right now, talking
Law.
about D3 again. There you go. That goes to show you how bad D3's launch was. That we're talking about it twice.
it was so bad.
D3 was just a crippling failure. In
It
terms
was.
of gameplay, what everybody expected, and the long-awaited,
So
successor for Diablo 2
there was
So,
nothing. Yeah.
so outside
Ugh.
of gameplay, lore-wise, Diablo 3 pick up where Diablo 2 left off not long after. Actually, it technically has to be long after because Leia's already walking around talking and she's looks like she's in her teens, early 20s. So
Yeah.
it's got to be set at least 20 years after the events of Diablo 2.
Right. Yeah.
20, we'll give it 25 years tops.
I really don't know a lot about the lore of D3. I mean, that game
So
is kind of like
D3 is
bleh.
kind of all over the place, but the gist of D3 is that you dealt with the lesser evils now, Asmodean,
Right.
and all those guys now. So basically,
Right.
D3, you're following the Dark Wanderer because he basically, during D2, unbeknownst to us, was shacking up with Leia's mom.
Right.
Um,
Who was the
so
witch?
exactly, the witch, Adria. Adria.
Yeah.
So now we have this coming about,
The
and
witch from part 1.
yes. So now exactly. So he set
Which
the
was
stage
wild.
here. Adria was the healer in Diablo 1. So she was
Yes, she
around
was.
when Diablo first, reared
Yep.
his ugly horns
Yep.
on our plane of existence.
She was
Now
under
here
the
we
cow,
are.
right? Like she was a little south of the cow that everyone thought if you kept clicking on it, you would get the
Yes.
secret cow.
Yes, that was her. That was her. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, mind you, this is a plan 40 years in the making. If you want to go by Diablo 2 lore, Hey Avante, what's going on? So now we're in D3. Oh, it's okay. You can do it while I'm talking. So while we're in D3, now you're dealing with Leia and Adria, and you're now trying to stop Diablo again by getting the Black World Stone. The Black Soul Stone, and trying to stop him from becoming the prime evil.
Right.
Basically, D3 Tyrael denounces his heavenly angelness to help us stop Diablo again because the angels don't give two shits about what's going on in Sanctuary.
Right, and they were like jerks though in Diablo 3. I remember that main dude. He was this super jive turkey, and it was terrible.
Yep. So here we are, D3. We go find the Black World Soul Stone. We destroy it again, and then we end up fighting Diablo, who becomes the primest of prime evils. So the super baddie of all super baddies, and we end up killing him again.
Killing
her. Whatever it was.
Which I thought was like, okay, sure, they went this route. Interesting.
Yeah.
But the gameplay itself, so the itemization was terrible, which is
itemization was bad. The skill trees were really bad.
They were so simple.
They were super simple, very locked in. What didn't allow for a lot of build diversity.
No.
They added a bunch of new classes you could play as, Witch
Which
Hunter,
was
Demon Hunter, Witch Doctor. They brought back the monk again.
which, don't get
They
me wrong,
changed the
I like
paladin for the crusader.
the Crusader. Give me a break. But it's interesting. They did talk about the Crusaders in Diablo 2, I believe.
Yes, they
They were a
mentioned them
sect.
briefly.
I kind of
Yeah,
like that lore. But overall, the game was, it just everyone who played, cuz and it kind of sucks because the people who didn't play Diablo 2, they played
thought D3
Diablo
was
3
fantastic.
and thought it was great as its own game. And honestly, when it first released, it was still terrible. Even if you've never played a Diablo game, like they were dropping unique only items for, say, a wizard with no wizard stats or unique suffixes or rolls on it at all. It made no sense. It was so
Yeah,
bad. I was like, what
D3
the heck?
launch was very bad. To the point that it was literally pay to play because of the real money auction house.
Right. That
Um,
was the problem because that was
D
their sole focus for that game.
D3 took a major turn when they got rid of the auction house and did a huge relaunch
Yes.
when the console version came out. And
And
that's when I honestly jumped on the D3 bandwagon and had a lot of fun playing
that
it.
wasn't Reaper of Souls also released around the same
Yes,
time?
that's
Yeah,
when
right?
the
Yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah.
the, the expansion dropped as well. They
Right.
they
And
basically
they
boiled that
fixed.
into one. They fixed everything.
They did. And it was playable. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh
fun
no, it was
action game.
definitely a lot more fun. It
Yeah,
definitely shied away from the ARPG ness of what Diablo 2 was for me.
it did. Which was,
Um
I didn't like that part. Like, yeah.
I feel like Diablo 3, yeah, the story was great. It was kind of all over the place.
Mm.
I feel like it wasn't, and this is
It was. It
extremely
was.
biased, it wasn't Diablo 2. I
No, no, it
expected
definitely wasn't.
something to be on par with Diablo 2 and give me the same enjoyment, and I didn't get
Hmm.
that from D3.
Which is interesting because the core game, for the most part, is kind of the same. Where it's a loot. So it's
Yeah,
basically an
it's a loot,
ARPG
exactly, a
looter.
looting
Like,
RPG where all you
right,
do is grind at the end. There's
right,
no end
right,
game in sight, and all you do is grind,
right.
grind and trade.
But the grind wasn't. It was kind of like,
Boring.
yeah, which
It
is,
was boring for me.
and we've had this discussion before because I'm like, why is this not? And mind you, you have these great visuals. The visuals look amazing. You know what I mean? Like with the monk, you were able to set up a build that it was literally like from a kung fu movie with the seven-sided strike. Like I would even say, I would be like, oh, here we go, hit, and I would like say moves like in a kung fu movie and stuff like that because it just felt like that. But that only lasted so long. Whereas I can play Diablo 2, play a freaking Skelemancer, summon 30 skeletons, walk around just amp damaging and corpse explosions, somehow having more fun doing that.
Yep.
than
Yeah, I agree with you.
like I
I,
didn't I
I
didn't get that.
the grind for me in D3 was not there. It wasn't fun.
It
I'm
wasn't
not.
fu- it was definitely there.
I can't explain to you why it wasn't as
I
fun
know it,
when
it,
it's
it just
exactly
didn't
the same as D2.
it
I
just
can't
didn't click.
explain it. Exactly. It just didn't click.
It
I
just didn't
didn't
click.
like the
It just
skill
didn't click.
trees. The skill trees just felt
Well,
kind of meh.
yeah,
Honestly, that's what it's got to be.
the
I feel
skill
like the
trees were
skill trees
terrible.
were too meh for me. Um,
Hmm.
they basically. I didn't like what they did with the sorceress, who they rebranded to the wizard. Anyway, I didn't like what they did to the sorceress. I feel like the demon hunter was a super short range um, uh,
Yeah, that was
Amazon. It just took
I don't
away
know
a lot
about
of the
that. I don't
stuff
know
that
what
you
happened with
liked
that one.
from D2, and
Right.
it kind of just made it feel super flat.
The witch
Like the
doctor
barbarian,
wasn't
he felt like the barbarian. Like,
he
okay,
was
you
he was
can't
good.
really fuck
Right.
that up,
He was
you
good.
know.
But then you had the witch doctor who I was like, "Oh,
He,
maybe
who,
it's like
who's
the necro."
he was
But it
exactly.
wasn't.
You would think he was like the necro. That he's gonna play with like the
Right.
undead and stuff. No,
Right.
he's
Nope.
throwing frogs.
And I used that skill. I used the rain one as my primary skill
Like
because I was like,
like
this is so
he felt,
ridiculous.
to me, the witch doctor felt sloppy.
It was like a
It felt it,
meme.
it felt really sloppy to
He
me.
was like the meme character. Like they just
The
threw him in there to be
the
silly.
crusader was me. It felt like a
He had
uh
you
forward
had to
up
do
paladin.
Yeah,
an
but
ordered up barbarian.
you had to do specific stuff for him in order for him to even be useful though. Like
Yeah, it
he
wasn't
only
fun for
had
me.
maybe 2 or 3 builds that were even worth trying. But again, there was no, like you said, no build diversity. The skill trees were super basic. You kind of just like put them on your hot bar and that was it. And
Can we just hold up real
oh
quick?
man.
Not that there's huge build diversity in Diablo 2. I mean, the start of every season, everybody's going to do the sorceress. It's either going to be cold or lightning, and then everybody jumps to a hammerden. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
when I just mean build diversity, I mean like build diversity that actually made sense. It's tried and true. Like, it works.
Because you could try
Like,
other stuff. You could do other stuff with other
exactly.
characters.
Exactly.
In
But in
yeah,
D2, it allowed you for a little bit more expression. I don't feel
right,
like you had
right.
that same expression in D3.
And
I
the
feel like
power,
the
yeah.
skill trees were super, super condensed. They made them really, really dumbed down.
And
And
the power creep was weird because after you doing those Nephilim rifts, which were like the endless
mhm.
dungeons, up until 100 and something, it was like, okay, yeah, like this is kind
So
of ridiculous. It
they
felt
recently
silly
fixed the power creep. They
in D3.
recently fixed it in D3.
Mm.
Yeah. They had to patch it because it got to a point where there was just nothing but dupes all over the place. Even on the
Oh
console
wow,
side, it was bad. Yeah, bro.
really for
People,
D3?
yo, it
What
got really bad at one point.
duping? That's like some D1
Duping,
stuff.
hacked, bro, hacked weapons. Even on the console side,
Wow.
people had hacked weapons. Like my Demon Hunter
Yeah.
on the PlayStation had a weapon that was doing like 60k damage
Oh my god.
off just 60k base damage. It wasn't even doing anything else. Like, and then all the stuff I'm picking up
Yeah.
is doing like 2k, 3k. This thing's doing 60k
That's absurd.
an attack. Like when I tell you,
Yeah.
like the economy was jacked up for a little while in D3.
Well, it's a good thing the auction house was over because otherwise that
Yeah,
would have
this was
been.
way after. No, no, this is after. This was for
No, I
console
know,
launch.
I know, I know. I'm just
Yeah, man.
saying. I'm just saying.
So,
Like I think about it, they, and they tried to disguise. See, that game kind of gets me upset too because I know all the effort went into that auction house because they kept that was one of the
oh, that was
biggest
the main
points.
driver when it first dropped.
Right, that was like one of their key, item points of the game. Oh, real money auction house. You know what I mean? And then they were like, oh, it's to combat quote unquote the RMTers and the botters and stuff like that. And I'm like, Blizzard, please, really? That's your justification for this garbage? Yo, and people made bank off of it at first.
Yeah,
Some
they
people
did.
made like
People were.
thousands of dollars. It was
Yes, they
pure
were.
insanity. Pure insanity. I was.
Oh, wait, real quick, before we keep going down this road.
Oh
We
no.
have to get back to the lore and finish it out for D4.
Okay, yeah. Let's do
So, so now
it.
D4 picks up
Wait.
supposedly
Wait.
50 years after the events of D3.
Question. So Diablo
Shoot.
Immortal, I don't really want to talk too much about that because we all
Ugh.
agree it is the worst money grab in the world. But does that lore have anything to do with any of the PC games?
So from what I've been,
'Cause
so that's
I
the
honestly
only
don't
thing
know.
that I actually try to follow with Diablo Immortal because I wanted to find that out too, where it
Okay.
adds. It picks up 5 years after D2, after the events of LOD.
But before D3?
Before D3, yeah.
Oh, what?
So D3 would technically be 15 years after Immortal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from what I've so there's not too much about the lore out there right now on
Okay.
Immortal, but from what I found, it basically
You
picks
probably
up
have to
5.
pay. You probably have to pay to read the lore, man.
Bro,
Freaking
I have
game.
no clue. All I know is that
Such a piece of junk.
from what I've been reading, it's
Oh
not
my
really
God.
focused on the lore. So it's
I'm
kind of
sure.
like I don't know if they're even going to go anywhere with it. But it
All right,
picks up
so
5 years after that,
so
after D2, and
freak
you're
Diablo
basically running around on a mission from Cain
got you. Okay.
to pick
Oh,
up
yeah, that's
like
right. He's still alive.
shards of the broken world of the broken
Oh,
world chain.
really? Is that
Yeah,
really? Okay.
that's the supposed lore that you're following
Supposed.
for Immortal.
Freaking hilarious. All right, so go.
I haven't read any more about
So
it.
let's go. So D4 now. Now we're
So
up to D4.
D4. Now we're 50 years later. Basically, from what I've garnered from all of the cutscenes and what we've played on the beta, we're picking up 50 years later, and basically we are on the heels of what is this heifer's name?
Lilith.
Thank you, Lilith.
Yes.
We are
She's
basically
the
combating
daughter,
Lilith.
the
She
daughter
is the
of
daughter of
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Right.
She
Who
was
is
basically locked up. She
yeah.
she and Anarius, who is a fallen angel,
Mm-hmm.
are mother and father to Nephilim. Basically, the characters we played in D3.
In D3, right.
So basically, Lilith gets locked away by Anarius because the Nephilim start getting slaughtered during this war between heaven and hell. Lilith doesn't like it, loses her shit, and starts basically just raising hell on everybody. Anarius is like, yo, we can't do this. He locks her up in the void.
He's another
So
bad
obviously,
turkey, though.
she's in the void. She's pissed.
Yeah.
Anarius now is like, ha ha ha, I'm the king of the world. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. The Nephilim are like, nah, fuck you, sir. And then basically banish him to hell. While Anarius is in hell, he basically loses his mind because he's just fucking tortured.
Right. Which hell could
Which
possibly
exactly,
do.
which
That-
basically
that-
is
that
what he's
makes-
going to get for being in hell and
that
being an
makes some
angel.
sense.
So basically, from what I picked up from just the beta, Anarius basically loses his mind while he's in hell because he basically just gets tortured. Like the worst types of shit gets done to him. One of the things that I picked up with the just playing the beta is that he was basically kept alive and his eyes got ripped out of his body and he was forced to watch himself get flayed.
God.
Like,
wow.
yeah, like this dude loses his mind while he's in hell.
Crazy.
He finally gets his shit together, breaks out of hell, and now he judges everybody on that weird plane of existence that we meet him on in D4.
Oh, okay.
So now you can understand why he's kind of a dick to us when we meet him.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, why am I asking this fool for help? I don't want this fool's help.
So you can kind of understand why he's a bit of a piece of shit to us when we meet him for the first time. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's what we have of the story so far. I'm really excited to see where they take the rest of D4 and where they take the lore.
Yeah.
They've mentioned the Sin War already in the beta. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Sin War. That's basically the book line that covers the Diablo series.
No,
it's like 6 or 7 books that basically tell a lot of that backstory of basically the war between heaven and hell, the angels and the devils and shit. So I've skimmed a couple of the volumes. I actually haven't read them because
there's 7 volumes of this.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 books. I actually have. I think I actually have them on my phone still. But yeah, they're long books.
What am
bro.
I saying? I need them. Well, I'll put it on like the
audiobooks. I'll see if they have the audiobooks.
Yeah,
if I find them, I'll get them to you.
The audiobooks, right? Exactly. I was like, oh wait, yo, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like, when I heard them mention this. Yeah, man. I'll see if I can find the audiobooks for you.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, man. They mentioned the Sin War that actually perked my ears up because I was like, oh shit, they're actually bringing a little bit more canon into this. So it makes me actually want to go ahead and actually read those books now.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds cool.
I am interested to see where they take this.
So am I. Diablo 4. I mean, we played the beta.
We just gotta wait till June. 2 more months, man.
It was fun. I have my own concerns. Again, the accessibility, having stuff read to you when you cannot see, helps so freaking much. And that kind of was like, man, this is actually good for me, but it's not good for me because I can't really play it. But I try to play it. Like I can't see the quest markers. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
No, man, but I mean that's one of the things I love about Diablo. We can run it together and you know we make it work like we always do, right?
Diablo was always a fun multiplayer game.
Like always a fun. I've always had fun playing it by myself. I always have a lot more fun when I play it with my friends.
Always more fun with 2, and it gets more fun the more people that are with you. I believe that. I believe
for sure,
that. Bro. Oh man, this was a good recap. We're a little over. I know I said we would only be a certain amount of time, but you know,
we can keep going up. We can keep going. We got 20 more minutes, right? You said you wanted to do some trivia. Let's do some Diablo trivia, bro.
All right. So the secret cow level. Which game was the secret cow level first introduced?
Oh, bro, that's too easy. Stop it. That's the official cow level you can only do in D2. It was a
Yeah.
big rumor during the D1 days that if you
Right.
clicked a certain
That's where
cow a
your
couple
name
times,
comes from.
exactly, that is where my name comes from. That is the namesake of me.
Yes,
Getting
literally.
killed by those stupid hell bovines in the
you
cow level
you
has
have been
scarred me
killed
for
by hell.
life.
You have been killed by
Exactly.
hell bovines.
Seeing that on
Death
my
by
death
cows.
screen plenty of times has definitely left an impact on my life. You know. But yeah, man, that's definitely D2, man.
So
Got to go
did
get
you?
your leg from Tristram and throw it in your cube with the
So
teleporter.
so here's something I learned that I didn't know. Did you know there was a fifth class in Diablo One?
Fifth class. Are we talking about the ones that would have released with Hellfire, right?
Yeah,
Now, are we talking about the Bard or the Barbarian?
the Bard. Yeah,
There you go.
that was because we talked about the monk,
Yeah,
and
the
then
monk
there
got
was
released with Hellfire initially. To get
right,
those two
right.
extra ones, you had to mod
Yeah,
your one of the in-game files.
so weird. It was like why I didn't get why they didn't just throw that in there like that. Like I don't know. It was weird.
Uh, it's
What
probably for the same reason that we didn't get the Necro in D3 until they released that 4.0 patch. Same idea.
what is the name? Let me see if you know this one because this one's kind of tricky because it's with D3 and D3 is kind of like the we don't care about.
Mm.
So, what were the names of the three companions?
Oh, dude, I have no clue. I have no clue. I know one was the Templar, one was the
That was
Rogue,
Cormac. So the Templar was Cormac.
and one was the Scoundrel.
There was the scoundrel, but there was a
Yeah,
you know who the third one was? That was the I you know it's funny. I remember her as the hidden footprints girl. I don't
hit him.
even know her
Why?
name because in that entire act 2, bro, there was a video. I remember there was a video that gave like a it was like a 10-minute summary of Diablo 3 and 5 minutes of it was just her saying, "Look, more hidden footprints. Look, more hidden footprints. Look, more hidden footprints, bro." And I was dying cuz that's all that is. That all of act 2 is that following her around with these damn hidden footprints.
That's right.
Bro,
Oh
come on.
my god.
When I think of
That's
Diablo 3, that is the thing I remember more than anything else in that
that's
flipping
when you're
game.
going
That's
through the damn tube
yes.
to get the dude's head, right?
Yes. Yes. More look, more hidden
Oh
footprints.
my god, that
Look,
sucked.
more hidden
That's just as
footprints.
bad as running Act
Look,
3 in Diablo 2, bro.
more hidden footprints. Look, more hidden footprints.
Oh my god.
And that was one of the most annoying
That was bad.
things. So damn, I'm trying to because we kind of covered a lot of stuff already. You know the names of the bosses in Diablo 3,
No.
right? Asmodan was like the Act 3 boss.
He was one of the lesser evils.
Who's the boss of Act 1?
The
It's crazy. I played that game so many times, I do not remember. Like, and that's what sucks.
There was Belial, Asmodan.
There was
You
there
fought
was
Magda. You fought
Magda. I think she was the
uh,
Act 1 boss.
Adria. Not yeah. You fought Adria eventually when she turns into the ugly spider.
She was, I think, the Reaper of Souls boss, but she was a mini boss. She wasn't a right.
No, you fought her in that pit before you got to Act
Oh,
4.
yes, yes,
No,
yes.
you fought her at the end of Act 3.
Right, right.
Because you also fight the guy who you get his head, don't you?
Who?
Zoltan.
Uh.
Zoltan Coulier.
Oh yes, yes.
Don't you
Oh
end up
god.
fighting him too?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Coulier.
Yeah, you end up fighting that
Coulier.
shithead.
I don't know. All I remember is look, more hidden footprints.
Ugh,
Look, more hidden footprints. Look, more hidden footprints. It's
so
like
bad.
I know more about Diablo 2 than any of the other Diablos. Like that, the lore for that though was so good. Like you're following the angels. You know, you had Tyrael. Oh, Diablo 3, Tyrael fell for. It started off with
Yeah,
him
yeah.
falling from the
He
sky.
fell from the sky, and then you
Right.
spend all of Act One putting his sword together to
You
get
put his
his
sword
memories back.
together, and then he remembers who he is.
Exactly, and then he remembers that he's a useless angel and can't do anything for you.
Yo, he really was. He couldn't
He
do nothing.
spends
It's like,
3 acts doing
bro,
nothing. You get back to heaven,
doing
then he's like,
nothing.
"Hey, I'm an angel again, and I still can't help you."
Nope. Then there
What
was
fucking good are you?
the
Yo,
other,
you meet this
even the
man for
jerk
3,
guy.
bro. Don't get me started on Tyrael because he's the most useless motherfucker you meet in 3 games. You meet him at the end of D1, you meet him again in D2, and in D3, and in all
Yes.
those games, he sends you on a fucked up mission where he doesn't help you.
Well, in Diablo 2, he actually fights. That's the only one you actually see
Bro,
him
he
fight.
doesn't fight. He
And he
throws
gets-
his sword at a crystal wall.
And he gets beat up though by. But he's fighting Diablo, bro. I mean,
And I don't consider that fight he had in Talrash's tomb a fight. He did some lightning and some stuff, and then got knocked down.
that was the closest. That was the closest to fighting that we see him.
He didn't do shit.
What was cool though, I love the art style of the angels though.
No,
All of
I
them
like the frilly like wisp wings
yeah.
that they gave him. It was really nice.
They're not like
the auras,
angelic wings,
like,
right? They're like these light tentacles that flow
Yeah.
from them. That
gives them a more ethereal feel, I feel.
Yeah, I like that art style. That art style was
Yeah.
cool. And then they kept that in Diablo 3 and hopefully and Diablo 4 it looks like they kept it. But did you notice Inarius's wings were like not flowing? They were
No,
like
his wings
jagged
look
and
dead.
crooked.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
thought that was a nice touch. I
His
was
wings
like,
look
okay,
stressed.
yeah. They don't look relaxed and flowing. They're like
I mean,
rigid
would
and
your
crooked.
would your wings be relaxed and flowing if you watch yourself get flayed?
I'm surprised. Well, I don't know. I can't see, so I don't know how that would be.
Oh shit.
So Diablo 4 is coming up. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I believe it's gonna be a better launch, hands down, than Diablo 3 was.
I think launch wise it's gonna be good.
Just
But
from
it's-
the beginning stuff. I mean,
But
it'll
hold
have
on.
the server
It's-
issues and
Exactly. It's Blizzard,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have server issues. There
right.
you go.
That
You gotta lead with that caveat.
give it a week, a few weeks. They'll again, which I've never understood because they know how it's going to be, but this is just how it is. Give it a week, things will stabilize, and then they can start ironing out the actual gameplay issues that'll sure to arise. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because we saw some stuff ourselves when we played, but they weren't like
People were
major.
getting their characters erased during the beta
that was horrible.
because of crashes. People were having connection issues, like
that
typical early
horrible.
stuff. But
But we saw some stuff with the questing, like if you join someone else's game,
Oh yeah,
and then they
questing was
leave, you're
bugged
still
for a little
stuck
while,
with their
yeah.
quests and things like that. I thought were a little weird, but overall, I'm not. It's weird. I'm not hyped for it, but I'm not ambivalent like I was. I guess
I'm keeping my ears perked up.
I'm full of crap. When it's like a week before it actually drops, I'm gonna be texting you and Avante talking about, yo, bro, 7 days, 6 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm such a I don't know why I'm talking junk. I know that's gonna be me, and I can't even see the damn game, and I'm gonna be hyped. For it, you know what I mean?
No man, I feel you.
So
I feel you. I'm gonna
right,
be in that same boat with you, bro.
Yo, this was good. This was a good recap. I'm glad we did this. I didn't know
Definitely,
a
it
lot
was fun.
about that. A lot of the lore. Bro, you still to this day, I will say this. You blow me away with the stuff
So
that you know.
hold on. I'm gonna share my favorite piece of lore of Diablo 2 lore.
Do it.
That most people don't know. You fight the 3 original champions, as they called them in Diablo 1.
Yes.
You fight the rogue, you fight
Yes.
the warrior, and the wizard from all of those from all of those champions. You fight them in Diablo 2.
Yes.
The rogue is Bloodraven,
Yep.
the mini boss in Act 1.
Yep.
That you fight in the burial grounds.
In the burial
the-
grounds.
The warrior obviously is Diablo himself that you fight at the end of Act 4. And then the sorcerer, well, wizard, is the summoner that you fight in the Arcane Sanctuary.
Arcane Sanctuary in Act 2.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And then, yep.
And if you don't pay attention to anything those NPCs say while you're actually running around D2, if you don't talk to them, you actually don't learn any of that. That's the crazy part.
Nope. I've talked to some of them, but and it's all voice acted.
Yep, it's all the voice actors. You can literally miss all of these voice prompts if you don't interact with any of the NPCs.
All that D2, all those like things you could click, and that was all voiced, which is wild.
Yep.
And D4, I like that. D4, everything was voiced, and I kind some people complained about the voice acting. I thought it was all right. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible.
I'm neither here nor there with it. I just know that the sorceress was very snarky when she was out of mana, so she needs to get her shit together.
Well, you need to like chill with the mana spamming and get some mana regen, bro.
Well, they need to fix the sorcerer's mana issues. This has been going on for 3 games. Like, give me a break.
Oh man, this was so good. Here, let me wrap up though. This was good.
All right, bro. Have at it.
Yo,
take it away.
Cows, thank you so much once again. The real Death by Cows and his treasure trove of Diablo lore. Thank you, my friend, once again for gracing us. And everyone listening, I want to just say thank you for tuning in and letting us grace your space this day. Remember, you are awesome. Jesus loves you, and ganadora.